James slammed the door of his beat-up Chevy so hard the whole frame shook, the rain pounding down like it was trying to wash away the last shreds of his dignity. "You're nothing but a disappointment, a freak who'll never amount to shit." His father's words echoed in his head, fresh from the family dinner that had exploded into chaos when James finally came out. He staggered into the storm-swept streets of Brooklyn, tears mixing with the downpour, wondering if he'd just lost everything for a truth that might not even be worth it. The city lights blurred through the sheets of rain as James wandered aimlessly, his soaked hoodie clinging to his skin like a second layer of regret. He'd always known this day would come, the whispers from his conservative family, the sidelong glances at church, the way his high school buddies in small-town Ohio had drifted away when rumors started. But nothing prepared him for the raw ache in his chest, the feeling that maybe they were right. He wasn't enough. Not for them, not for anyone. That's when he bumped into Christopher, literally. The tall, broad-shouldered man with a messenger bag slung over his shoulder was rushing under an awning, coffee in hand, when James collided with him. Hot liquid splashed across James's chest, but instead of yelling, Christopher steadied him with a firm grip. "Whoa! Easy there. You okay? You look like you've been through hell." James blinked up at the stranger, his green eyes piercing through the gloom. Christopher was older, maybe mid-30s, with a jawline that could cut glass and a warmth in his smile that felt like a lifeline. I'm fine," James muttered, but his voice cracked, betraying him. "No, you're not," Christopher said softly, guiding him under the awning. "Come on, let's get you dry. My apartment's just around the corner. Name's Chris. By the way." James hesitated, but something in Christopher's steady gaze made him follow. They walked in silence, the rain a constant roar, until they reached a cozy brownstone in Park Slope. Inside, the place smelled of fresh coffee and old books, walls lined with shelves, a guitar leaning in the corner, and a view of the twinkling city skyline. Christopher handed him a towel and a dry shirt, no questions asked at first. As James changed in the bathroom, he caught his reflection, 25 years old, lanky with messy brown hair, eyes red from crying. He'd moved to New York 2 years ago to escape the suffocating Midwest, chasing dreams of becoming a writer. But rejection letters piled up, and his part-time barista job barely paid the rent. Coming out tonight had been his last act of defiance, but it felt like defeat. When he emerged, Christopher was brewing tea. "Spill if you want. I'm a good listener. Used to be a counselor before I switched to teaching high school English." James sank into the couch, the words tumbling out, the family blow-up, the years of hiding, the fear that he'd never find love in a world that still judged. Christopher listened, nodding, his presence a quiet anchor. "Sounds like you've been carrying a lot," he said finally. "But you're not a freak, James. You're brave as hell for owning your truth." They talked late into the night, the rain easing to a drizzle. Christopher shared his own story, growing up in San Francisco during the AIDS crisis, losing friends, fighting for rights in the 90s. Now, 38, he was out and proud, but not without scars. "Life's about finding people who see you," he said, his hand brushing James's accidentally, or maybe not. By dawn, James felt seen for the first time. As he left, Christopher slipped him his number. "Call if you need to talk. Or just call." Days blurred into weeks. James threw himself into writing, inspired by their conversations. They met for coffee, then dinners, walks in Central Park. Christopher's laugh was infectious, his touch lingering longer each time. One evening, under the stars in Prospect Park, Christopher leaned in. "James, I see you. All of you. And it's enough." Their first kiss was electric, a spark in the autumn chill. James melted into it, fears dissolving. But doubts lingered. Christopher was established, confident. James was still finding his way. What if he wasn't enough for him either? As winter set in, their relationship deepened. Mornings in Christopher's bed, tangled sheets and whispered promises. James's writing flourished. He landed a freelance gig at a queer lit magazine. But shadows crept in. James's family cut him off completely, and old friends from Ohio ghosted him. Worse, Christopher's ex, a slick lawyer named Alex, reappeared, stirring jealousy. One night, after a heated argument about Alex's friendly texts, James stormed out. "Maybe they're right. I am a mess," he shouted. Christopher chased him. "No, James. You're everything." But the cracks were forming. The holiday season hit New York like a glittering storm, lights strung across every street. But for James, it felt like walking through a minefield of memories. Christmas Eve found him alone in his tiny studio apartment in Queens, staring at a silent phone. No calls from family, no reconciliation. Just the echo of his father's last words. "Don't come back until you've fixed yourself." Christopher had invited him over, but James declined, needing space. Their relationship, now 3 months strong, was a whirlwind of passion and vulnerability. Mornings filled with lazy kisses, evenings debating literature over takeout Thai. Christopher introduced him to his circle, queer artists, activists, teachers who welcomed James like family. But the weight of his past pressed down. That night, a knock startled him. Christopher stood there, snowflakes in his hair, holding a wrapped gift. "I couldn't let you be alone," he said, pulling James into a hug. They ended up on the floor by the radiator, unwrapping not just the gift, a leather-bound journal, but layers of emotion. "I love you, James," Christopher whispered, his voice raw. "You've brought light back into my life." James's heart soared. "I love you too." They made love slowly, the city humming outside, a promise sealing between them. But love, James learned, wasn't a shield against the world. Come January, Christopher's school faced budget cuts, stressing him out. James, thriving at the magazine, suggested Christopher quit and pursue his dream of writing a novel. "You'd be amazing," James encouraged. Christopher hesitated. "It's risky. I've got stability now." The tension built subtly. Then came the betrayal, or what felt like one. James discovered texts from Alex, not just friendly, but flirtatious. "Miss our nights," one read. Christopher swore it was nothing, that Alex was manipulative, but doubt festered. One stormy afternoon, James confronted him in a crowded cafe near Columbus Circle. "Are you seeing him behind my back?" Christopher's face paled. "No, James, you're the one I want." Alex is history, but James, raw from rejection, pushed away. "Maybe I'm not enough to keep you." He left, heart-shattering. Weeks of radio silence followed. James buried himself in work, but inspiration dried up. He wandered the city, from the High Line to the Staten Island ferry, questioning everything. Meanwhile, Christopher grappled with his own demons. He'd trusted James with his heart, scarred from past losses. Alex's reappearance was a test he failed by not deleting the messages immediately. He confided in his best friend, Maria, a fellow teacher. "I screwed up. He's everything I need, but I let fear win." Maria urged him to fight. "Go get him back, Chris. Show him he's enough." The high school where Christopher taught was abuzz with preparations for the annual LGBTQ+ awareness event. Christopher decided to make a grand gesture. He invited James anonymously, hoping. James arrived skeptically, the auditorium filled with students and allies. Christopher took the stage, his voice steady. "Today, I want to share a story about love and self-worth. About a man who taught me that vulnerability is strength." He spoke of James without naming him, weaving their tale into a message of hope. The crowd was moved, but James slipped out, overwhelmed. Outside, in the crisp February air, Christopher caught up. "James, wait. I was wrong not to shut Alex down sooner. But you're more than enough. You're my everything." Tears streamed down James's face. "I don't know if I can trust this." Christopher pulled him close. "Let me prove it." They reconciled tentatively, rebuilding brick by brick. Spring brought renewal picnics in Washington Square Park, weekends in the Hamptons borrowed from friends. James's family remained distant, but he found chosen family in Christopher's world. Yet conflict loomed. Christopher's school board, conservative-leaning, caught wind of his speech and relationship. Whispers of inappropriate influence spread. Parent complained, threatening his job. James stood by him, rallying support. "We'll fight this together." The hearing was tense. A room full of suits in Albany. Christopher defended his right to live openly. James testified, voice shaking, "Love isn't a threat. It's what makes us human." The board ruled in his favor, but the stress took a toll. Christopher confided a secret. He'd been offered a teaching job in California, away from the drama. "Would you come with me?" he asked one night. Stars above the Brooklyn Bridge. James froze. New York was his home now, his career budding. I don't know." The question hung like a storm cloud. Summer sweltered in the city, humidity wrapping around James and Christopher like a too-tight embrace. The California offer loomed, a fork in their road. James paced their shared apartment. They'd moved in together in April, blending books and lives. "Chris, my work is here. The magazine, my network. Starting over terrifies me." Christopher cupped his face. "I get it. But think of it, beaches, fresh start. No more judgmental boards. We could build something new." The debate raged, laced with passion. Nights turned to arguments, then make-up sex that left them breathless. But underlying it was fear. Was this love strong enough to uproot? Enter the real betrayal. James, seeking advice, confided in Alex, yes, that Alex over coffee, thinking he could gain insight into Christopher's past. Alex, ever the opportunist, twisted it. "Chris has always been restless. He'll leave you eventually." James pulled away, but Alex leaned in. "You deserve better." And in a moment of weakness, fueled by doubt, James let Alex kiss him. Regret hit instantly. He fled, guilt churning. He confessed to Christopher that night, tears flowing. It meant nothing. I was scared. Christopher's face crumpled. How could you? After everything, the fight was brutal. Words like daggers. You're just like them. Thinking I'm not enough, James hurled. Christopher stormed out, slamming the door. Days of silence stretched into a week. James drowned in remorse. His writing stalled, the city feeling empty. Christopher, heartbroken, considered the California job seriously now. He packed a bag, crashing at Maria's. He betrayed me, he told her. But God, I still love him, Maria sighed. Love's messy, Chris. Forgive or let go. The climax hit at Pride weekend. New York exploded in rainbows, parades marching down Fifth Avenue. James, amidst the crowds, spotted Christopher in the throng, holding a sign, "Love wins," for everyone. Their eyes met across the sea of people. James pushed through, heart pounding. Chris, wait! They faced off in a side street, music thumping nearby. Why, James? Why Alex? James broke down. I was terrified of losing you, of not being enough. But I am. We are. Christopher's resolve cracked. I trusted you, and I broke it. But let me fix it. Stay. Or take me with you. Just don't leave. Emotions surged, anger, hurt, love. Christopher pulled him into a fierce kiss, the crowd cheering unknowingly. Okay. We fight for this. They chose New York. Christopher turning down California. The summer healed wounds. Therapy helped unpack traumas. James's family reached out tentatively. A cousin's wedding invite, a small olive branch. But deeper conflicts simmered. James's writing took off. He sold a short story collection about queer Midwestern lives. Success brought invitations to events, pulling him away. Christopher felt sidelined, his own novel draft gathering dust. One autumn evening, over dinner in Little Italy, Christopher exploded. You're living your dream, James. What about mine? James recoiled. I thought we were in this together. We are. But I feel invisible. The argument escalated, revealing insecurities. Christopher admitted fearing he'd hold James back. James confessed his imposter syndrome. They parted that night, unsure. James wandered to the Hudson River, watching ferries glide. Was love enough? Morning brought clarity. James returned with coffee and resolve. Let's make time for your writing. I'll support you. Christopher smiled faintly. And I'll celebrate yours. Their bond strengthened, but life tested it again. Winter brought news. James's father had a heart attack. Despite estrangement, James flew to Ohio. In the hospital, tense reunions. His mother hugged him awkwardly. Father, weak in bed, whispered, "Son, I'm sorry. For everything." James choked up. Dad, I love you. But I love myself too. Back in New York, he shared with Christopher. It's a start. Their love deepened, rooted in forgiveness. As spring bloomed again, cherry blossoms painting Central Park pink. James and Christopher found rhythm in their chaos. James's book launch was a hit, friends. Champagne, toasts to resilience. Christopher beamed proudly, his own novel outline taking shape with James's encouragement. But shadows of betrayal lingered. Alex, spiteful, leaked rumors to Christopher's school about their scandalous past. The board investigated again, this time with anonymous tips. Christopher faced scrutiny. "This could end my career," he confided, pacing. James rallied. "We'll expose Alex." Fight back. They hired a PI friend, uncovering Alex's harassment history. At a mediation, Alex backed down, but the damage scarred. Through it, their intimacy grew, nights whispering dreams, bodies entwined. "You're my anchor," Christopher said. Yet, high drama struck. James received a fellowship offer in LA, 6 months. Career boosting. Echoes of California's ghost. "I have to go," James said tearfully. "But I'll come back," Christopher nodded, hiding pain. "I trust you." Separation was agony. Video calls bridged miles, but loneliness crept. In LA, James met vibrant queer scenes, temptations whispering. One night, drunk at a party, a handsome actor flirted. James almost gave in, but Christopher's face flashed. He left, calling immediately. "I miss you." "Only you," Christopher confessed his own doubts. "Hurry back." The fellowship ended early. James rushed home. Reunion at JFK was cinematic, hugs, tears, promises. Back together, they planned a future. Christopher's novel sold to a publisher, inspired by their story. James's family warmed slowly. His sister visited, accepting. But true test came with a health scare. Christopher found a lump, biopsy pending. Fear gripped them. Waiting room tension. "If it's bad," Christopher started. James squeezed his hand. "We'll face it. Together." Benign. Thankfully. Relief bonded them deeper. Summer road trip cross-country sealed it, from NYC to San Francisco, tracing Christopher's roots. In the Grand Canyon, under stars, Christopher proposed. "James, you've shown me I'm enough. Marry me?" James, kneeling too, laughed through tears. "Yes. 1,000 times." Wedding planning brought joy and stress. Families mingled awkwardly. James's parents attended, tentative hugs. On the day, in a vineyard upstate, vows exchanged. "You were always enough," Christopher said. Honeymoon in Hawaii. Bliss. But life isn't fairy tales. Post-wedding, Christopher's school offered promotion, but with relocation to Chicago. Another move? James sighed. Debate ensued, but compromise. James freelanced remotely. They went. In Chicago, new beginnings. James wrote a memoir. Christopher taught with passion. Years passed, adoption discussions, a dog named Max. Conflicts arose, but love prevailed. Reflecting on their journey, James realized, betrayal taught trust, conflict built strength. In a quiet moment, watching Lake Michigan, Christopher whispered, "We made it." James smiled. Because we were always enough. Their story, whispered in queer circles, inspired, love wins, humanely. Settling into Chicago felt like turning a new page. The Windy City's brisk air a metaphor for fresh starts. Their apartment overlooked the lake, waves crashing like applause for their resilience. James's memoir, Enough, a queer odyssey, hit shelves, drawing crowds at readings. Christopher's novel, a poignant tale of lost and found love, earned acclaim, solidifying his shift to full-time writing. But old wounds surfaced. James's father passed suddenly, a stroke. Flying back to Ohio for the funeral, James faced the family rift head-on. His mother, tear-streaked, pulled him aside. He regretted everything, James. In the end, he was proud. The eulogy James delivered was raw. Dad taught me strength, even in pain. And love, real love, makes us enough. Christopher held his hand through it, a silent pillar. Back home, they grieved together, turning sorrow into stories. Adoption became their next chapter. After paperwork marathons, they welcomed Liam, a spirited 5-year-old from foster care. Daddy James, Papa Chris. His giggles filled the home, healing cracks. Parenthood tested them, sleepless nights, tantrums but deepened bonds. One evening, as Liam slept, James reflected. We built this family from broken pieces. Christopher kissed him. And it's beautiful. Conflicts didn't vanish. James's rising fame brought travel. Christopher felt the strain. I'm happy for you, but I miss us, he admitted. They sought counseling, learning balance. Communication is key, the therapist said. A betrayal echo, an old flame of James's emailed, stirring nostalgia. James deleted it, transparent with Christopher. No secrets, trust rebuilt, stronger. Community involvement grew. They volunteered at LGBTQ+ centers, mentoring youth like young James. You're enough, they echoed, changing lives. Anniversaries marked milestones. 5 years, 10. In their 40s and 50s, gray hairs mingled, but passion endured. High drama revisited. Liam, teen now, came out as bi. I'm scared, he confessed. James and Christopher shared their story. We were too. But love wins. Supporting Liam through bullies, they advocated at school, echoing Christopher's past fights. In quiet moments, James wrote sequels, Christopher taught workshops. Their home buzzed with friends, a chosen family vast. One autumn, health revisited James's diagnosis, early diabetes. Fear gripped, but Christopher's care turned it manageable. Together, he vowed. As elders, they retired to a cabin in the Adirondacks, lake views reminiscent of Chicago. Grandkids visited Liam's adopted children. Reflecting on betrayal, it nearly broke us, James said. But it made us, Christopher replied. Their love, kintsugi gold, shone brighter for the cracks. In the end, on a porch swing, hands clasped, James whispered, You said I was enough. Christopher smiled. And you proved it. Death came peacefully, Christopher first, James following months later, hearts entwined in legacy. Their story lived on books, speeches, a foundation for queer youth. Humanely, it taught, in America's vast tapestry, love's threads weave resilience. From Brooklyn rains to Chicago winds, they were enough together.